are 7 specific F1 drivers who perfectly represent the 7 heavenly virtues, and we're going to start with chastity. Chastity is often described as abstinence from the worldly desires like sexual pleasure, but in the broader sense, it can be described as the purity of purpose and unwavering dedication to one's principles. We all know that there's no better candidate for this other than Nico Rosberg, who exemplified this virtue throughout his career. Rosberg's approach to racing was almost spiritual. He didn't just drive, he connected with his car on a level that seemed almost supernatural. Rosberg's dedication to perfection was evident in his qualifying performances. In 2014, he won the inaugural FIA Pole Trophy by winning more pole positions than any other driver. He also won the DHL Fastest Lap Award because he recorded 7 fastest laps, more than any other driver during the 2016 season. By the way, make sure to subscribe as I'm trying to hit 500 subs soon. Thanks, and sorry for the interruption. Off the track, Rosberg's purity of purpose was evident in his charitable efforts. He accumulated £160,000 for the Laureus Sport for Good Foundation as part of a campaign called #DriveForGood, in which €100 was donated for every kilometer he led in a Formula One race from the 2015 Chinese Grand Prix to the season-ending 2015 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. In 2012, Rosberg teamed with the children's aid organization Ein Herz für Kinder and has raised capital for the charity through various events. Rosberg embodies purity in the perfect sense. Temperance. Temperance is all about self-control and passion. Niki Lauda's career is a masterclass in measured decision-making and cool-headed persistence, resulting in 3 world championships, 1975, 1977, and 1984, and 25 race wins. However, his most shocking display of temperance was during his near-fatal crash at the Nürburgring in 1976. On August 1st, 1976, Lauda suffered a horrific accident during the German Grand Prix. His Ferrari burst into flames, leaving him with severe burns and lung damage. Despite being given last rites in the hospital, Lauda showed remarkable self-control and determination. Just 40 days after the crash, he was back in the cockpit, finishing 4th in the Italian Grand Prix. In a shocking turn of events, he almost died and returned to the track in just over a month with a modified helmet, and then he achieved his 2nd F1 title. Lauda later admitted, "I said then and later that I had conquered my fear quickly and cleanly. That was a lie, but it would have been foolish to play into the hands of my rivals by confirming my weakness." This level of self-control, acknowledging his fear but not letting it control him, is temperance incarnate. At the season-ending Japanese Grand Prix, with the championship on the line, Lauda pulled out of the race after 2 laps because of dangerous wet conditions. This choice, which ended up costing him the title, showed how Lauda could make smart decisions even under intense pressure. His driving career flourished because of his temperance, unlike the next driver who used his F1 skills to spread love and do charity. Charity is about love and generosity, and using one's success to make the world a better place. The F1 racer who's the perfect embodiment of charity is none other than Lewis Hamilton. He's a 7-time F1 champion, and he was also the first black F1 driver. But that's not why he's on this list. After making it big on the F1 scene, he turned to helping others. Very mediocre family, and his dad had to work multiple jobs to support his career. You can learn more about his struggles by clicking on the video in the description, but just know that he had to struggle a lot being black and poor in a field dominated by wealthy white men. So he decided to help others like him. In 2021, he pledged over €20 million to his Mission 44 Foundation, which works to create real, systemic change by supporting underrepresented groups in education and employment. He has been a UNICEF UK ambassador since 2012 and has taken part in many charity projects around the world. In 2012, he went to the Philippines to see UNICEF's work with the kids in the poorest areas of Manila. In 2014, he visited Haiti to help raise awareness about the country's recovery needs after the 2010 earthquake. Besides this, Hamilton has also gotten into various troubles for his passion and being vocal about his activism. Being the only black F1 driver has exposed the cracks in this elite sport, but he has used this massive platform to raise awareness about issues he cares about, like fighting against racism, police violence, and social inequalities. That's charity, that's love, and that's why Lewis Hamilton is the perfect embodiment of this heavenly virtue. However, the next F1 driver might be a bit controversial for the virtue of diligence. What is diligence? Well, it could be hard work, persistence, and attention to detail, and Michael Schumacher. His career is a testament to the power of these qualities. The thing is that Schumacher wasn't satisfied to rely solely on his natural talent, which was considerable. Instead, he honed that talent through relentless hard work and attention to detail. His physical preparation was legendary. While other drivers were out partying, Schumacher was in the gym, transforming himself into one of the fittest drivers on the grid. He was known for his meticulous approach to understanding every aspect of his car and the track. He would spend hours analyzing telemetry data, working with his engineers to squeeze every last millisecond out of the car. His former teammate Johnny Herbert once said he had such a massive hunger not just to turn up at the weekend, have a chat with his engineer, and then turn up again, race and chat again. He was a very important part of whatever team he was on. Now, Schumacher's role in turning Ferrari around is perhaps the ultimate testament to this. When he joined the team in 1996, they were far from the dominant force they'd once been. But through sheer persistence and hard work, Schumacher helped transform Ferrari back into a winning machine. 5 consecutive world championships from 2000 to 2004 are the fruits of this time. He's the reason why many people turned their eyes to F1 and fell in love with the sport. When it comes to the virtue of patience, we often think it's just about waiting and nothing more. But it's also about calmness, tolerance, and even forgiveness. And the one embodying this heavenly virtue is none other than the Professor. He earned that nickname for a reason. In an era of aggressive, all-out racing, Prost took a different approach. His ideal was to get pole with the minimum effort and to win the race at the slowest speed possible. This was his strategy. It was patience personified. It's no wonder he holds the record for the most Grand Prix victories by lapping the entire field 6 times. His driving style, how he handled setbacks and rivalries, particularly his famous battle with Ayrton Senna, despite the intensity of their rivalry, which included controversial collisions at Suzuka in 1989 and 1990, Prost never let it descend into personal hatred. In fact, after Senna's tragic death in 1994, Prost said, "When he died, I felt a part of me had died also, because our careers had been so bound together." This ability to forgive and recognize the bond they shared, despite their fierce rivalry, is a powerful example of patience and forgiveness. There's no other soul in F1 that embodies forgiveness more than him. Now, when we talk about kindness and forgiveness, we refer to having compassionate and considerate nature. It's about treating others with respect and generosity. The problem is that in the fiercely competitive world of Formula 1, finding this is difficult, to say the least. Until we look at Felipe Massa. Throughout his career, Massa was known for his friendly demeanor and positive attitude. He was well liked in the paddock, respected by his peers, adored by fans. Massa's 15-year Formula 1 career saw him compete in 269 races, achieving 11 wins and 41 podium finishes. But it's his conduct both on and off the track that truly sets him apart as an exemplar of kindness in the sport. So yeah, everybody admired him, but not just for his talent, but because of his personality. This was shown in the aftermath of the 2008 World Championship. After losing the title to Lewis Hamilton in dramatic fashion on the last corner of the last lap of the last race, Massa showed remarkable grace. Despite the heartbreak, he congratulated Hamilton and handled the situation the best way. And then, in the Brazilian Grand Prix in 2016, Massa's admiration reached its peak. After crashing out of the race, Massa was given a guard of honor by other teams as he walked back to the pits, a rare show of respect that moved him to tears. Now, our last heavenly virtue, humility, often misunderstood as thinking less of oneself, is actually about having an accurate view of one's abilities and achievements without needing to boast or seek validation. Below that light, humility equals bravery. So who could carry this virtue with them? Jackie Stewart. A 3-time world champion, Stewart never let his achievements go to his head. He was known for his down-to-earth attitude, always quick to credit his team and acknowledge the role of luck in his successes. This humble approach allowed him to be incredibly brave in pushing for changes in the sport, particularly when it came to safety. In an era when driver deaths were tragically common, Stewart campaigned tirelessly for improved safety measures. This wasn't always a popular stance. He faced criticism from track owners, race organizers, and even some fellow drivers who saw his efforts as an attack on the purity of the sport. Stewart's humility allowed him to put the greater good of the sport above his own reputation or popularity. He wasn't seeking glory or recognition for his safety campaign. He genuinely wanted to make the sport safer for everyone involved. He pushed for full-face helmets, seatbelts, medical facilities at races, and improved barriers. Yes, it's a dangerous sport, but he wanted all the drivers to stay alive, or at least have the necessary safety to ensure they would return home after the race. In his later years, as a team owner and respected elder statesman of the sport, Stewart continued to demonstrate humility. He was always quick to praise the achievements of current drivers and teams, never falling into the trap of claiming that things were better in his day. Subscribe if you love this video and want to watch more F1 content from me.